y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another makeup no one asked for. And now I understand when it comes to these kinds of videos, someone, somewhere, a certain demographic did ask for it. And these products are their absolute perfection and holy grails. That's fantastic. Me ranting and raving and complaining and being hideously hyperbolic does not negate your love or your appreciation for said products. These are my observations. These are my opinions. Take that with how many grains of salt you would like. And we're just here to sit down and just really take stock of, like, you know, when I go into school, hopefully for my degree in business, maybe I'll understand all of this a little bit more. But I feel like a lot of the marketing and the whatever nowadays is just one big giant cluster, you know what? So me being the opinionated talky person that I am, I accumulated some things that are specific, and we've got a couple things that are just kind of like overarching, because that's a theme you know I like doing. Okay, this first one here. This may have been something, this is kind of a caveat. I'm sure some people, especially, you know, I'm dry, I need a little bit of illumination. So these, the idea of them is like, yes, thank you, please make us nice. I'm sure they had the best of intentions, but the Too Faced illuminating setting powders, which was like a line from their, like, what even was that? I think it was extension of the Tutti Frutti or something like that, but they were like, look, here's an illuminating setting powder. And I was like, yeah. And then I was reading reviews and I went to see it online, I mean in store, and you swatch it and you're like, well, it's illuminating, but it's illuminating not because it gives me a beautiful, pearlized, lightning, angelic beauty from within. It's because it's a setting powder with glitter in it. And I understand, glitter can highlight, it's shiny, it's reflective, but when I'm putting it on an already, you know, problematic, sensitive area of my face, I think the last thing I need is glitter running around up in there. And we're not talking like subtle, possibly catching the light ever so delicately glitter. I mean, this was essentially a toned down, loose highlighter. When I swatched it, I was literally like, that'd make a pretty highlighter. And so while we may have asked for illuminating setting powders, what we didn't ask for was a setting powder with glitter in it. I feel like there's some kind of technology that can like help us get, like I said, those diffused light whateverness pearls, because the Laura Mercier translucent whatever setting powder, that's illuminating. Too Faced born this way. You know, there are formulas out there that already exist that do the thing. And they do the thing without having glitter in them. Thank you very much. I've already ranted about this next product in a anti-haul, or will I buy it, something. And I talk about the James Charles and Morphe Unleash Your Inner Artist palette. But wait, it's a mini. And I know some of y'all did say, like, in that video where I was ranting, y'all were like, you know, palettes are super expensive. You know, if they made a mini blood sugar or mini whatever, you'd be all over it. Because I understand often why things are expensive is because they justify it by the size of the shadow you're getting, even though we ain't never gonna be going through it. But like, I feel like this was the ultimate didn't ask for mini palette, because yeah, the larger palettes, Morphe's, you know, I think it's $39 for like 39 shades. So that's $1 a pop. But, I mean, like I said, I feel if any brand were to be all like, look, here's a mini version of an already existing palette, I'd be like, what, why? Because especially with the James Charles and Morphe, they already have everyone's money. That thing sold out like 5 times over 3 different restocks from different Ulta and Morphe and wherever it was sold. Like, people already bought it, you know, it was a hot ticket item, and James is all like, you know what? I need more money. And Morphe's like, we got you, what you want us to do? Let's take that palette everybody loved and already bought, and let's make it teeny tiny and sell it. Who was knocking on the doors of the Morphe headquarters saying, we really need a little version of this palette with a mirror? Like, what poll did they take? What sort of demographic did they get the results from that made them decide to pursue this? Like, no one asked for that. No one needs that. Why do you do this to us, makeup community? We have literally grown so stale that we can't even think of a new palette format. And if we're gonna discuss Morphe, which you know has become a brand that I have, for all you know, I am speaking in infinites now. I have officially decided to no longer, like I say now, and I will stand by it, they could collaborate with Jesus Christ himself, the Messiah. Like, it could be entitled The Messiah Palette, and I'd be like, I'm a pass. And we're gonna talk about Morphe's recent palettes. I mean, Morphe is known back in the day for making big palettes for not a lot of money. I got the 35B, I had the 35OM, I got some other Morphe palettes because your girl was broke. Still kind of am, but I have better taste now. And we've got like the 39 Hit the Lights, the 35H, the 35G, and I think the 30, the one that I roasted with all the reds is 35O with 2 greens. And if you look at these palettes, and they've all been released, I believe, this year, and you're looking at these with a critical eye, and if you squint your eyes a little bit and you tilt your head and you look at them like that, you will notice that if you rearrange the shades one way or another, or take some of the shades out, they are all essentially the same thing. And I understand there are only so many colors in the universe. There are only so many. I mean, eventually we're gonna run out of everything. But when you're one brand re-releasing kind of the same thing over and over again, I mean, if you look at that Hit the Lights palette, they were like, okay, let's take one of our basic neutral palettes that we release all the time, and we have some leftover shades from the James Charles palette. Let's put those in that and sell it. Like, okay, all right. It's a neutral palette with a couple colors, and y'all are gonna be like, ooh, holiday, fancy New Year's makeup. I mean, I do not find the pop effect to be very, I mean, you have it and you're just like, oh, look at that. I could totally create all these amazing basic whateverness, but if I really want to go crazy, I've got that green and that pink and that blue. And I mean, the one with the 2 greens, like I said, you know, you're just like, okay, take them out. All right, we got that. We got the greens too, and they're a better formula. Like, I do not understand the thinking. I do not understand. I would love to have a sit down with whoever is in the Morphe lab, whoever they have chained up in the basement, who is curating these lineups. Because part of me feels like, I know Morphe is known for the big palettes, but I feel like if they pulled it back and maybe halved those and made more concise, less repetitive, that's another thing. You got shades in there, you got 39 of them. That is a lot of case for like repeat. You know, here's a setting shade, or here's a crease shade that's half a quarter of a third of a tone different. Do we actually really need that? No. But we have to fill up space in these big giant palettes. I'm just like, no, we really don't need those. They're all the same. They're really, no, we did not ask for basic boring palettes that you're now sprinkling pretty fancy little bright colors in. Okay, all right, this is definitely something. I feel like, I love it. My chair has wheels. What's up? Makeup world has progressed. It is not 2001 anymore. You know, we have moved on and kind of burned a lot of bridges as we went, which is fantastic. But like, I saw this on Sephora and I'm like, we are still investing money into making these because you know people are not gonna buy this. Come November 1st, or it is January 1st, this is gonna be on sale. And I feel like I know the excuse, the reasoning behind this is people are gonna be all like, well, we need to purchase something for people who don't, you know, little girls who don't need like super high whatever makeup. I'm like, okay, all right, don't buy it from Sephora. Go get them some drugstore or whatever. You know, I mean, it's you got the eyeshadows, you got the blush, you got the lipstick, liquid, you got the gloss, and you got the, you know. Who? Okay, let me know. School me down below in the comments. Someone can be all like, well, I buy this for this and such, or I buy it for myself, or it's so great for this. Someone's gonna do that. Let me know down below. But from a practical makeup standpoint, who is buying this? There are better, if you're wanting to like get bang for your buck, see that's part of it. It's like all in one, all great and whatever. You know, it's great to travel with until you have to take this big giant clunky bulk thing with you. The quality is gonna be shoddy because it's not made for anyone actually wanting to invest in makeup. And I just literally don't understand why we're still making these. Do they make them normally? No, they make them during holiday because there's going to be some grandmother, some mother, some aunt, some uncle, brother, sister, basically anyone who needs a gift for someone they know loves makeup, but they know absolutely nothing about makeup. You need a gift for a preteen, but you don't want to buy them actual makeup. And so there's kind of that like slight skewed, very niche demographic. But if you're gonna buy anyone makeup, especially someone forget that. Forget it and just get them one nicer thing. They will appreciate it more. The quality will be, I mean, seriously, people, it's 2001 again, and they want their makeup back. Okay, this one is a personal thing, and I know I'm gonna offend some people because there are some people, there's always some people. It's always relative, people's opinions. I ain't bashing none of y'all, but a lot of people, this is like their thing, their jam, whatever. And I'd probably get into it too if I liked the product, but I don't, so we're here now. But the colored beauty blenders. Now, Beauty Blender came out and they were like pink, boom, and then I think they came out with black and whatever, and then they're now, I don't want to say obsessed, but they've released, you know, yellow, green, marbled. I think the most recent one is blue. And that's all good, great, and wonderful. You know, I understand when you've got a new product and you're like, ooh, you know, pink's not my favorite color, but blue is. That's cool, that's cute, that's great, that's whatever. But, I don't know if this is nobody asked for it or this is just me being personally offended. But when they release a new color and like we act like it's this like new groundbreaking, holy crap, they released the blue sponge. We're not reinventing the wheel here, you know, it's like it's a blue sponge. It's a yellow sponge. It's a marble. It's all gonna get dirty, janky, ganky, and nasty with all of our foundation up in it, so what does it matter what color it starts out with? I must admit, for as aesthetic loving, for as crap I don't need loving I am, when it comes to my tools of my trade, my brushes, my sponges, I don't care. It could be the ugliest thing ever. If it does its job, that's what I want. So I don't really care about the fancy whatever or the colors. And it's just like the way people lose their minds. They're like, holy heckiness, a new colored sponge. This is like the best. I mean, they act like so amazed and astounded that Beauty Blender would think of making a Beauty Blender yellow. Like, who cares? Who asked? $20 a pop? I mean, I don't. I mean, just the way, like I said, with the way people lose their minds and they're just like, oh my stars, it's so revolutionary. It's a different color. We are on a new tier of level wokeness and awakenedness and a new tier of progression. When in reality, it's just a green sponge. It's just yellow, pink, blue, purple, puce, beige. And it's all gonna get nasty. It's gonna get thrown in the trash at some point anyway. So what's the big deal? Okay, this is going to be an overarching theme. And I'm not one to throw shade. I like to give constructive criticism because I find constructive criticism to be very helpful. And so I don't want to bash people. I don't want to be all like, you're stupid. But the example I'm going to use is very specifically Dragun Beauty. I'm not bashing Nikita. She isn't my particular cup of tea, which is funny because she's extra AF and that's kind of what I live for. But I feel like she's a different kind of extra AF. Anyway, her beauty line, and this falls under mediocre, middle ground, or boring makeup in presentation packaging. When you can obviously tell that the bulk of the monetary investment wasn't so much in creating the formulas as it was what we're putting the formulas in. I mean, it started off with like the whole, this is a dragon egg, and you open it up and you get the products. What did people want? People wanted the PR egg, people wanted the moment, the experience of opening it up and being like, oh look, here's a color corrector that doesn't necessarily work for everyone, and here's a really cheap looking compact of 2 powders. That's what people really wanted, not really the products. And then you take into consideration the face palette, which I feel like she got a little too dragged for the face palette. I'm like, look, she's a new brand. This is something that she uses every day. I think that's kind of cool, matching her aesthetic or whatever. But when you're literally sit there and be like, this is the most amazing package that we spent so much time like researching. We had to send people into outer space. We had to send people to Russia to figure out how to create this packaging. I'm like, okay, all right, I can appreciate packaging, but I'm like, can you talk about the formula? Can you talk about, where you sent people to go, research the crystallized pigments that you used in your highlighter? Oh, you can't? Because you spent all your budget on the packaging? Because as consumers and as collectors within the makeup community, we do ask, either inadvertently or just, on precedence, for nice packaging. Presentation is important as a person and in a product. If it doesn't look good, we're not gonna buy it. But when you put all the investment into the packaging and the product inside is not so much holiday Too Faced, we really, really did not ask for that. Okay, then last but not least, because we're running pretty high on time, if y'all want to see a part 3 or 4, I don't even know what I'm on anymore, let me know down below if y'all would like to see this again. But the Urban Decay On The Run mini palettes. Now, I'm not gonna say we didn't ask for these, because I understand there is a myriad of demographics within the makeup whateverness. What I want and expect in a color theory is not necessarily what someone else wants, so there's gotta be all types of makeup for all kind of people. But I feel like we didn't ask Urban Decay to make these. This would be something more akin to Loraque's aesthetic. A very safe, occasionally adventurous, like we have the pop of green, which quite honestly, if you take the pop of green away from that one palette, it looks exactly like the other palette and they're released at the same time. That's something Loraque would do. Whereas Urban Decay, which I have been begging, pleading, praying, making sacrifices to heathen gods for them to reinvent themselves into what they used to be. I want color, I want electric palettes, I want in-your-face palettes, Urban Decay... Beauty with an edge? I see no edge. The edge is gone, the edge has left, the edge has been lifted, and now we're living very safely. And so while these palettes, I'm sure work great for some people, a couple of y'all have told me you really like the little mini On The Run palettes. They've released a couple. But Urban Decay, why are you taking the job of Too Faced, of Loraque, of Smashbox, who are typically known for those safer neutrals with an occasional something. Whereas Urban Decay was, here's electric blue, here's puce, here's pink, here's purple, and then they occasionally did the neutrals. And I understand that the market changes. See, this is the whole business aspect that I am not privy to. And Urban Decay could very well be trying to sell brightly colored makeup, see that it does horribly, and they're like, well, we gotta do what people are buying, which people aren't buying as much as they used to because there's so much on oversaturate. We are peak oversaturation. And so it's just, I understand there's all that, but I'm like, I wish we could kind of go back a little bit and have a little bit more excitement, release a little less, have a little more excitement, and maybe the market would improve because we're actually buying what we want because you're releasing less products and more thought out. Y'all know I could talk about oversaturation and the beauty marketing, the cesspool that we're currently living in. But that would be a video for another time. Obviously, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on what I talked about. Like I said, if you love these, fantastic, do you. But I love to hear your thoughts on these products as well as other things that you think are makeup that no one asked for. Why do you exist? Why is this a thing? Definitely let me know all y'all's thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!